that video anyway, I am Hope, and Hope is speaking, and it's slightly later than I would come on. However, I am here. I am here. And the last time I came and spoke was a few days ago. I believe it was Monday. And I updated all of my followers and everyone in my live about all of the transitions I've been going through, how my father transitioned just a week ago, and now we're in 2024. And what does that mean? What does that mean? What's up, Courtney? And it's a weird thing because there's been so much change. There's been so much change in this month. For me, having my father die, for me, just I had a birthday, all of these things. However, the beauty is, what do I want to see in this year? And of course, there's a lot of content with New Year's resolutions and how to change in this year and what to do and why. What do you really want to change and how badly do you want it? And this is what this live is about, because people say they want to change, but they don't. They don't want to stay in the same space. They don't want to stay in the same problems, but do they want to change? No, because when you want to change, that means you have to do the work to change, and doing the work to change is the hardest part. This is why people don't change, because to change means you have to change a habit, you have to change your outlook, you have to physically do something different, and that is hard to do. So this live is just about that. What is the change for 2024 and how do you plan to change it? I'm actually uploading a video to that other website with long form videos. I won't say the name because sometimes this app catches it and it suppresses the views for my lives. And I am uploading a video of 5 ways to change in 2024 or at any time. And it's not this cookie cutter way. Thank you for liking the live, Deluxe. Because let me tell you, most of you mofos ain't gonna change. Most of you mofos are just gonna say how much you would want to or how others should, but you yourself, you wouldn't change. If you want it to change, you wouldn't be telling people. Here's the secret. When you want to do something, keep it to yourself. Because just in that keeps it real for you. As soon as you say it, it's like you've already done it. Okay? And again, when you want to change, you got to ask yourself, why do I want this change? Is it because I don't want to stay in the same cycle? Is it because I feel I should have more? What is it? What spurs your change? Because if you don't know what that is, you are going to stay the same. And most people do. Most people stay the same. Most people are not challenged by change. In fact, change is so difficult that they just quit. And quitting isn't the option. Here's the other thing. With changes, especially with a new year, and this could be with any time. It doesn't have to just be for the start of a new year. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? How badly do you want that change? How badly do you want to show up differently? How badly do you want something differently? Because if you don't truly want it, it'll be easy to throw it to the side. It will be easy to say, I don't need to do this. It just will be easy. And change doesn't come from ease. Change comes from doing really difficult things. Change comes from when you are at your rock bottom. And your rock bottom may be without choices, without financial means, without a home of your own, without a car of your own, without the job of your own. All of those things become so uncomfortable that you don't have anything but to change. The only source is to change. And that change is going to be difficult. Just know, to change in this year or at any time, you probably will have to shut out everything. You will have to shut out people. You will have to even shut out the thoughts that you think. It will be that difficult. And it's worth it. I share this because on this app, the For You page has been different after the new year, and it's been something like it feels different. It just feels different this year, but it feels different because I'm different. There's nothing different about this time. I'm just different. I'm different. And I know that. And I know that I'm in a different space from what has transpired over this holiday season and over this year. I'm different. I shared in my last live how my father just passed away a week ago. It hasn't even been a week. And the transition in me that I have observed going through grief and not having that parent physically. They are always within me and living with me and not physically here. And that adds to this change. That adds to this feeling of growth and this feeling of something being unfamiliar, because it all is. It's all unfamiliar right now. Grief is unfamiliar. Approaching this year with these goals is unfamiliar. It's all unfamiliar, and it's worth it for me to keep going. It's worth it for me to keep going. It's worth it for me to say that is still for me. It's worth it for me to say, I can do this. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And because it's worth it, you got to do it. Change is so difficult, and this is why people don't do it, and they often project. So they will tell you how someone else is doing something, or how someone else is trying to lose weight, or how someone else is, hey, I see some of my hopefuls, is trying to change, and they will critique them. Because it's easy to critique someone. Listen, if you're a performer or you're on the stage, the people in the audience have the easiest job. They're sitting and watching. They're sitting and watching and criticizing. That is always easier than actually performing. To have the courage to try to do something takes a force that's within you. And we all have courage. The courage to change in 2024 is always in you. It always has been within you. However, to step into it and to constantly go when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, when it's uncomfortable and it's unfamiliar. And that's where that courage comes in. That's where that difference of who you were and who you are going to be comes in. And this is why I'm on live now. I'm so used to going live daily to speak because as a speaker, I have to speak. This is a part of my process to encourage, to share about the things I'm finding in life, the experiences I'm finding going through this grief journey with my father dying, going through this journey as the child, but now I feel like a real adult. All of this is difficult. So what? So what? Do it. When you want something, there has to be a relentless urge to continue. There has to be a relentless longing to become. Because the easiest thing is to quit and say, I'm done. The easiest thing is to quit and say, I tried. No, did you try or do you want it? There's a big difference. And it can be tough. It can be tough. I can say, especially now, it's tough. And what's the other option? Thank you, Zay, for liking the live. What's the other option? Is the other option just to say, I can't do this anymore and refuse to do it? What is the other option? And I always share this in my lives. When you think of what you want to do and you tell yourself no, stop telling yourself no and start asking yourself, what's the other option? What's my other option? Is the other option to stay the same? Okay, I don't want that. I have to go towards something else. Is the other option to stay uncomfortable in this old space? I don't want that. I have to go forward. And in this time of reflection from the prior year or years, I'm seeing how I'm refining myself and how to refine yourself and how to look at your past versions and learn to grow from them and learn to grow into your new self from the old things that you've done. I had shared with a friend, I truly feel powerful, like a true sense of power, because what is there to stop me? I think at times the pain of losing a parent is so frightening that we often just actually don't want to think about it. And what I have found in my journey with my father dying is that I have what it takes to continue. And I have what it takes because of him. And I have what it takes because I say I have what it takes. And I have what it takes because I'm excited about continuing and not giving up and just continuing to roll with it. Oh, I see some of my hopefuls, and I'm encouraged by that. And in the video that I'm uploading now onto that other long form video app that starts with a Y and ends with a E, my ways of changing in this year. And I've had several changes. I love change. As any of my hopefuls know, I will change my hair, I will change my look, the way my makeup is, because there's something. Thank you, Celos Focus. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And there goes Handsome. And Andy. Oh, my hopefuls. So this whole change, thank you for liking the live, Handsome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Were you in Maui? I saw you had posted something. And I also saw how there was a ban on fireworks in Hawaii and Maui. So update, please. And I'm talking about change in this new year because I have gone through change, and I found one of my superpowers is being able to change or transmute or take whatever discomfort and use it as a catalyst for change. As I shared with some of my hopefuls, what? Is that right? Are you enjoying the sun? Um, and what neck of the woods is that? As I shared with some of you on my lives, and I'm being very transparent, I my father died last week. It's just been a week, and so I am in this grief journey, and grief is just an experience in itself, and to allow it and to what island? Silos. And great. January in Hawaii is amazing. Um, Finding the strength in that. Because when I share that with people, they say, sorry for your loss. I'm sorry. And I say, I appreciate that. I know that's coming from a kind place, but I've lost nothing. I've lost nothing. I've only gained. I've gained the wisdom and the insight. Okay, Honolulu, probably, from my father and all of these things that he sowed into me. So I'm finding, even within this time of change and grief, that I can use that as a catalyst of change for myself. I am a completely different person. I am. I just am. And I feel it now. And things look different and make sense differently. Thank you for liking the live. I know you're enjoying Oahu. I mean, Hawaii in January is just, c'est bon. And using these difficult things to create change. When I become upset at where I am or stagnancy, I immediately go into like super transformative mode where I no longer say, thank you, handsome, thank you, thank you, thank you. I no longer I've changed something though, handsome, into my hopefuls. I used to say, I don't answer the phone. I'm changing that. I'm enjoying answering the phone now. I'm enjoying talking to people, and I'm enjoying that change because there was a time where I was just more to myself and quiet. Now I'm ready to talk. Call me. Let's talk. Let's come on, come on. And also, I've had a lot of friends reach out during this time. So it's all of those shifts. I am not a constant. Yeah, embracing the change, embracing my new year is my birthday, which was in November. So I don't really see January 1st as the new year. And in fact, winter in itself is a time of rest and planning. You don't really start doing, you can start anything at any time. Let's start there. And winter is for rest and for building and hibernation and planning for spring and planning your attack on life. And you can still do all of that. However, there's a reason why it's winter. And the beauty in that. Oh, I love some new nails. What color? Did you get designs? Did you get some designs? And yeah, physically and emotionally changing. I shared with my grief, not even my grief journey. I'm going to stop labeling that because now this is life. With the loss of my father, this will be for the continuance of my life. And I know I need that extra because I am feeling everything that grief has. So I have to pour into myself. I don't say, well, I'm so sad, let me eat junk food. No, 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 no. Well, I also don't eat junk food. There's that. There's very little of that I eat, but because I know my body is processing so much, I'm meticulous about what I'm consuming. And I've been juicing, and we have an orange tree and citrus and all of these things. When I'm hungry, I'm meticulous about what I'm eating. I make it a point to move. A lot of times when we encounter hard times, especially mourning a loss, you don't want to do much. You may just want to stay bundled up in your bed. For me, I know movement actually improves my mind, body, and soul. It aids to me. I'm outside. I get to smell some fresh air. I get some sun and I get to hear the birds. I have to do that. I have to pour into myself during this time. So, movement is a must. I must move daily. I also cold plunge, which I've been sharing on my TikTok page. However, it does wonders for your well being. With pleasure, Andy, with pleasure, with pleasure. It does wonders. It makes me feel so good. And I already do well, I'm still going through this. So this may, this whole experience is new. However, I love the beauty of how I can steer my thoughts and jump into some ice cold water and say, I'm staying in here for 1 minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and I'm going to do deep breaths and look at you. This is amazing. Keep doing this. I have found a lot of solace and release in journaling, which I talk about all the time. Anytime I feel what I feel, I will open up my journal and write it out. I also had shared with a family member, because we're all feeling grief in different ways, the fact of just simply showering daily. Now, I do take 2 showers a day. However, with the loss of anything big, sometimes you don't want to do anything. And I always believe that just bathing, a shower, you always feel better. There's nothing that you will lose by just taking a quick, 10 or 15-minute shower instead of just staying in the bed and not moving, forcing yourself, which is really just mind control. My mind wants me to stay in the bed and I get to control it. No, I'm getting out and I'm moving. It may not be my 4 miles, but it'll be a 10-minute walk. How about that? How about that? I'm not going to eat fast food. I'm going to make food, and a lot of people have delivered food to my family's home, which is so helpful. And that's all it is. It's mind over matter. That's the only reason why I cold plunge, because you got to be able to control your mind to do things that you don't want to do. Because most of the time you're doing things that you don't want to do by force or because of money. You don't like this job, but I have to go because I have to get this paycheck. How about running 5 miles or jumping into something cold or refraining from smoking because it will bring something more to you? And I do a lot of these things because to me, life is all about mind control, your mind. Being able to say, I will do this or I won't do this. Being able to be resilient and flow through what life brings you, because there's going to be something. It changes all the time. And in that, how will you show up? Will you choose to show up? Yeah, don't. Don't worry. Why? Why do you worry, Andy? What does that bring you? Because that doesn't do anything. Changes are never expected. And I'll just use this example. I did not expect for the Christmas season to be a time where my father would pass away. However, it's okay. I don't fear things because the worry about what may come does not soften what may come. The worry about it really, that's an internal mirror. Whatever you're worried about is an internal mirror, and sit with that. Why am I worried about this? Why do I want to control this? Why am I seeking to prepare myself for the worst? Why am I already thinking of the ways that I can solve this? Here's the thing, Andy, you always have everything you need. In that regard, whatever comes to you in life is a lesson that you can handle. There's nothing you can't handle. There's nothing that you can't get through. There's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing you can't grow from. And there's no one that can take you from your authenticity. If you believe they can, that's a space to grow in. That's a space to grow in. But worrying means that the outcome wouldn't be in your favor. There's nothing that's not in my favor, and that's with anything. And I have found in this time, with the death of my father, how resilient we are, and I am. This by no means is like a walk in the park. And what it has grown me into is a completely new version that I'm both enamored with and still meeting. When I say there's nothing I can't do, there's nothing I fear, nothing. I don't feel the transition of my life experience. I don't fear the transition of anyone who is in my life. I don't fear people leaving my life. I don't have control over that. And it really comes down to control. I cannot control anything except for my thoughts, my body movements, but that can be up for discussion. However, I'm going through life like, yeah, I can handle whatever comes to me. And I know I can. I can handle whatever that comes to me. I can handle everything that shows up in my life. And I say that. I say that through the tears. I say that through the discomfort. I am allowing this, and I'm growing in this, and I am resilient, and this is molding me into the new version of me. I refuse to say anything else. And especially in a time like this, meaning this new year, when individuals are trying to get in the gym, man, you see how quickly people don't believe in themselves. And I've said this, people just don't believe in themselves. Because if you trusted yourself and you could hold yourself accountable, it wouldn't be restarting the gym January 1st. It would be, I never stopped going because I hold myself accountable. I go. I love that I go. I love that I can hold myself accountable. I love that I know when I say something, I will do it. And if I fall off or if I skip a day, that's okay. Maybe I got ran over that day. Maybe I needed to rest. Maybe I need it that day, and I will start again. There's also that. You can just start again. And I said this in my last live on Monday. You don't have to do anything. First of all, I will always say that. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is wake up. It would behoove you to believe in yourself, which means to trust yourself, because that is a secret. That will make your life slightly easier, because you will have to trust yourself to make a choice. But if you don't trust yourself, you will outsource that opinion. Let me ask someone else because I don't trust myself, because I never make good decisions, because I'm not good enough. No. I have to trust myself, because when I trust myself, I can make a decision that I have confidence in. And life is only a decision-making process. All you do in every day in life is make decisions. What am I going to eat? Where am I going to go? Who am I going to see? Am I going to pick up that phone? But if you don't even trust your decisions, that you'll feel that constantly throughout the day. And it comes from, number one, understanding why you do it, why you don't trust yourself, and then letting that go. It could be simply because you had someone who always said, you don't know what it takes to do this. You need to rely on me. You make bad decisions. It could be because you heard someone always say, I don't trust myself. Well, what benefit does that bring to your life? What benefit does not trusting yourself bring to your life? I don't think that brings any benefit. In fact, it probably just brings discomfort, anxiety, negativity, and stagnancy. So the courage to trust yourself means whatever choice I make is the right choice. And I say that. Whatever choice I make is the right choice. Because it's always something for me to learn from. And you're talking to someone who's made colorful choices in her life. I have, as I shared, been kicked out of a country and banned. I've been actually deported. I shared how I was ran over by a motorcycle. I have done quite a few precarious things. I've had a colorful life. And in that, I'm here. I've survived. All it is a story. It doesn't matter. I remember those because those are the big things, but there's been trillions of decisions that I've made in my life. Most of them in this moment don't matter. So when I'm able to share that within myself that, hey, wait a minute, I have agency over this. I can trust my thoughts and I can tell myself that I'm a great decision maker. And furthermore, I'm not going to make a wrong decision because I have all the tools and I learn in every decision that I make. Every decision is a lesson. There's something for me to learn in everything. That's what I say. What am I learning from this? How am I growing from this? How can I grow from this? How is this serving me? Even when you think it's bad, it could be a lesson. Whether that's a relationship that no longer serves you, a friendship, an occupation, anything. How am I growing from this? How is this serving me? What am I to learn from this? What will this change in me? All of these questions, because those are empowering. Instead of saying, geez, you see, this is so stupid. I never know. No, I'm only speaking empowering to myself. And I hear how there are individuals that just don't. They speak disempowerment into themselves. How they aren't able to do something. How do you know what you can't do? Have you tried it? Oh, you tried it once, so you can't do it. Maybe it's going to take 500 times. Give yourself credit, give yourself time, give yourself grace, and know you have everything that it takes in this moment. You always have. Now, it may take you learning something. It may take you releasing something. It may take you understanding that, yeah, I'm just holding on to this relationship because it's my only form of safety. Because if I don't have this person, who do I have? And if I don't have anyone, I'm just by myself. And what I've learned in this time since my father died is you do really only have yourself. in the most beautiful way. People pour into you, people share with you, people aid in your life for a reason. They're teaching us things, they're giving us tools that we actually have agency to use at different times in life. It's not a negative thing to say, all I have is myself. That's a beautiful space. Because if that's the case, there's nothing that you can't get through in life. And of course, it helps when you have people to listen or to aid, and you can do it. There will be times where there's people there to support, and there will be times when it's only you. And that's when you have to reach in and find these tools and say, this is tough, and I'm doing it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm proud of myself. And wow, I did it. I'm so proud of myself. I can change, I can maneuver, I can grow. I can let go of someone that I thought I would never want to see walk away. I can do that. It's within me. And I have the strength to do it in the way that's best for me in this moment. And how empowering that is, how uplifting that is. And I've shared this with myself in this time. Through tears and journaling, wow, I knew I was strong, and I'm so much stronger than I knew I was. We are so much more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. But how often do we give ourselves credit for our resilience, from healing from a heartbreak or from piecing our life back together after what we consider it to be unrecognizable? Or starting something new and daunting. How often do we give ourselves credit? And there's a beauty in that. And that's why this, how are we going to change? What will we change in this new year? Give yourself credit for what you have done, who you have been, who you have met, who you've let go of, what you've learned. Like, stop and give yourself the credit that you deserve. Pump yourself up and say, you know what? I did that. And I did that. I really did that. Like, that was me. That was me. Wow. What else could I do? Because in that sense, that excitement to continue to support yourself and to pour into yourself and to align with that strength that's within you is drenched in like encouragement. So when I say, how are you to change for 2024? The real question is, how much praise have you given yourself for completing this past year? If you look, go to your phone. Go to your phone, go to your pictures app. It doesn't matter what your phone is, and look at January 2023, February 2023, March 2023, and see all the pictures of the different things that you have endured, lived through, learned from, grown from, that got you to January 2024. That will be the catalyst for your change, because you have to see how remarkable you are, how much you have done. Like, give yourself credit, really. It was quite a character building year. I don't ever say there's bad days or bad anything. I will say it's character building. It really built my character. I grew into elements of myself that were uncomfortable, and I saw that. Thank you for liking the live. And thank you, Charlotte Masters, for sharing the live. Everything does work out in the strangest ways. Often when we worry about things not working out, we're just building that scenario of worst case scenario to prepare ourselves for when it happens. The thing is, it hasn't. You're building a story. It means nothing. You could build a story of you building a pirate ship and sailing off into the blue. It has the same effect. And so it starts with that awareness of, oh, I talk myself into these precarious stories that don't exist, or I pull into my reality. I almost make it happen. What can I do to stop that? First, recognize that you're doing it. Recognize that you are doing that. Recognize that you have more control than you think, especially over your thoughts. Because your thoughts become your words, and your words build your worlds. So, what worlds are you building? What do you want to build? How big do you want to dream? How much do you want to change? Do you just want to throw the past version away? Do it. It is actually that easy. It is actually that simple. It is actually just that thought of, you know what? Nah, I'm showing up different. Like, people are gonna be like, who it, what it. It's not for you to recognize. It's for me to create. It's for me to believe in. And it's for me to continue to show up as. And as I was recording I just made a video that I put onto that other long form video app that starts with a Y and ends with a E about these changes, and how I have done these great changes in my life. And it is drastic, and it will take everything in you. And I remember I will rid myself of a wardrobe. So I believe in actually seeing and being before. Let's say you want it to be a, who dresses particular? Let me think. So let's say you wanted to be a makeup artist, and makeup artists always wear a lot of black. I was a makeup artist, so I know. I actually don't really like that either, because I like a lot of color. This has like fringe. I have my own style. However, yeah, just all black. Blech. I love color. I love color. But anyway, say you wanted to be a makeup artist. You know they all wear black. Start wearing all black. Start thinking like you're the makeup artist. You don't become it once you're it. You become it before you are it. You become it before it actually happens, because when you act as though it's already done, it's done. You don't just want to, there is no way to want something and just wake up one day and have it. It is incremental change. However, it takes you seeing yourself as that, showing up as that. And when I say changing your wardrobe, I love clothes. I'm a very stylish woman. I have the best taste ever because because it's me. And I recommend going to Pinterest and making a board of yourself, not even your future self, because the definition of future is the exact time a word leaves your lips or is written. That is the definition of future. So the future isn't this unforeseen time, it's actually now. And if you want to dress in romantic dresses with long highlighted hair and gaudy jewelry, find that. Put it on a Pinterest board. Take your clothes, sell them on eBay, on Mercari, on Facebook Marketplace, on wherever, and take whatever money you make from that to buy this new wardrobe, and then buy the wardrobe and wear it. Thank you for sharing the live, and thank you for the follow, Lady G60ish. Do that. I've done that, and I have a lot of clothes. I also used to sell vintage clothing, so it I'm intentional. I mainly shop secondhand. There's a few designers that I buy directly from. I would say 90% of my life is secondhand. Everything, everything. So with clothing, because I used to sell vintage clothing when I was a flight attendant for 15 years, all of the countries I went to, I would go to flea markets and thrift shopping. So I had clothes from you name it, from London, from Japan, from Brazil, from Colombia, from Paris, you name it. I have a thick book of all the places in the world to go thrifting. And then I had so much, I would sell it, or I would help my friends in New York style. I did a lot of styling. And I also know clothing. So I know stitching, I know fabrics, I know how much things go for. I would meticulously look up brands and fabrics and designers. Like, it's more than just everything I wear is intentional. I won't wear anything that I don't love. I don't buy things I don't love. And because I love clothing and I have style, it's very easy to shop secondhand. If you have style, you can shop anywhere. And I also say that because I worked fashion adjacent, and I would usually go to the shows, New York Fashion Week, London Fashion Week, Paris, sometimes LA, but LA's Fashion Week isn't like important. um, and model friends and designer clothing, and it's great, but it's not. There's certain pieces that are, for me, I don't wear labels. I don't need someone else's stamp to affirm me. And I love style. Fashion is something different. And with all of this, I knew how to sell clothing. I also knew, outside of vintage, the brands that would sell online, like on your eBays or your Dpops. I knew the brands that would sell. So it depends. It depends. I mean, I don't just say yes or no. I'm excited for the new creative director of Gucci, because Alessandro was lovely and such a breath of fresh air. And I love how he reformulated the Gucci name, because Gucci, prior to Alessandro, was almost unapproachable and like the Tom Ford Gucci, the very sexy, skinny, sultry, hot, just unattainable sexiness, aspirational sexiness. And Alessandro had a completely different take. So it's not that it's no Gucci, it just depends. I just won't say, oh, of course, because of a name. That I don't know. I would have to see exactly what it is. And I redo everything. So whatever I buy, I may redo it, or I have tailors that redo it. However, I would sell the brands that I knew. So if I went to Goodwill or places, I knew brands to buy that would easily sell. And in that regard, I would buy clothes, wear them, and then sell them to buy more clothes. And this is how, full circle, I got back to changing in 2024. Start dressing as who you see yourself as. And that starts with dressing as that person. You can't show up as a different person in the same clothes that you've been showing up as. It's not no longer you. So this willingness to change and to do what it takes for intense change means to do that intense change. Like when you release clothes, and I say this also, a lot of you are holding on to clothes that aren't that great. Like, this is the best dress. It's not. I'm waiting for a special occasion. You don't go, what are you going to, the Amphar Gala, the Met Gala? You're not. Wear it. As soon as I get clothes, I wear them. Every day is a special engagement. I'm here. You don't think today is important? Try missing a day. You'll see how important it is. That's why when you see me, I show up for life. I show up. Even during the shutdown, which I was completely out of the loop, because living on Maui, it was paradise. and I was outside all the time, and it was amazing. However, even when I would go out, I would put on my red lipstick and then my mask, and people were like, "Hope, you have lipstick on?" I show up. Listen, I'm not dressing for anyone outside of me. So when I hear someone say, "Why would I dress up? Who am I going to see?" I see me. I'm not dressing up for anyone but me. I get to look at this, all this beautiful that I'm showing up every day. I'm showing up every day. With that feeling, you do show up. I do show up. I don't take any day for granted. I don't. Even more so because of all of the life changes that I've experienced within the last 90 days. And so if you really want to change your appearance. If you really want to change, purge your closet. Really, even if you sell everything for $1, most of that stuff you're not going to wear anyway. Challenge yourself. I'm showing up differently. Yeah, I don't wear too much color. I'm going to wear more color. You know what? I'm going to sell 10 shirts to buy 3 shirts of colors that I haven't worn, a bright red, a bright blue. Even that, because I think in like a stylist way, I can redo a whole capsule wardrobe. But if it's daunting, I'm going to release 10 tops. I didn't say get rid of. I am releasing 10 tops and replacing those 10 tops with 3 new tops. Do the same thing with your pants or your shoes, or I'm releasing 10 things. It may not be 10 tops. It could be 5 tops, 2 pairs of shoes, and 3 pants. 10 things total. I'm releasing it and buying 3 new things that I have not worn and I will wear. Have that space for something new to come in. That's really how you change, because you're seeing yourself differently. And once you do one change, it's easier to do another. But so many people push change away. I'm afraid of change. I hate change. That's terrible because life is consistently changing. Life is just changes. That's it. So every time you say, "I hate change," you're telling your brain to recognize change as something negative. And your brain is just taking your command, and it will highlight all of these things that you have said because you said you hated change. Stop it. I flow in change. I thrive in change. Change loves me and I love change. I am comfortable with change because I am changing. Say these things. I welcome change and I have everything I need to adapt to change. That feels so much different. And the beauty, I know a lot about change. Being a flight attendant was change. So it's like, why would I get upset at a delayed flight? It doesn't do anything. I still have to wait, even with passengers in the boarding area who may be upset. Me allowing that to upset me even more brings no benefit. That's how I look at anything. How does that benefit me? How does being upset and letting some ruminating negative thoughts of this is terrible and I hate this, and how is this benefiting me? Does this benefit me? Do these thoughts benefit me? No. Okay. If it's not beneficial, what is? Acceptance. Yeah, I'm here. The flight is delayed. I'm sitting here. I'm okay. I have my earbuds. I have a book. I can go buy a bottle of water. However, it is okay. And this is just how the day is going. That's what I would tell myself, because the opposite would just grow upon itself. When I am able to just look at my thoughts as beneficial or not beneficial, it releases so much. It releases so much. Is being late to everything beneficial for me? Or is it adding to my anxiety and stress? And even before I go somewhere, do I say, I'm just going to start getting ready earlier, an hour earlier? That has benefit. When I stopped drinking, and again, I've drank all over the world with the finest champagnes, with the most lovely gentlemen and men and women, danced on the best bars, all of that. I got to a point where I said, does drinking benefit me? How does this benefit me? It doesn't. I like my quality sleep. As much as I love a champagne, I don't enjoy the feeling that I have the next day and the day after. It's not beneficial for me because then I'm knocked off schedule. And it's on the long term not beneficial for my body, especially as we grow into life. Me drinking at 23 would definitely not be me drinking now. I was nuts. I was insane. I don't know how I drank that much for that long of a time, because I was flying and partying with my friends. So someone would bring us out and we'd be, I was like 22, 23. There's a private event in London. We would go out and have a beautiful dinner and champagne and after drinks and party till 4 a.m., go to our hotel, sleep, work the flight back to DC. Then we would land. Someone would say, hey, there's a party tonight. We've only had like a few hours of sleep. We would go out then, drink again. Like, this was constant. There was just weeks that we would take maybe a day or two off, but I was traveling out, drinking till like I would throw up, black out. But it was funny. It was just really funny. I'm like the funny, happy drunk. And I would love to dance on tables and bars and like swing from chandeliers, which is true. I really have. But because of that, I said, how does this benefit me? It is great, but I want to actually know what I did the prior night. And I was lucky enough and safe enough to have people surrounding me that always had an eye out for me. But long-term health-wise, alcohol is a depressant. It will make you depressed. There will be a point where you won't feel good. And I'm keeping it tight and right, baby. I can't be sorry. I gotta give it up. You know, all of the fancy bars in the south of France and Shanghai and Hong Kong. I've done it, and I'm okay. I don't even want to be in the dark with loud music. Yeah, Gene, true story. It wasn't just the hometown bar, but how is this benefiting me? I'm up at night, I could be at home sleep. Now, if it is a nice, private, well planned, beautiful event, I will go. I'm not just going to like some dive bar happy hour. I'm not doing that. My time is valuable. I would know. And I haven't drank for years now, and I don't miss it. And being sober around drunk people is like, people are idiots. And just to, it's not without judgment, but really, when you're the sober person and people are drinking, it's not fun. And that is okay. That's why I remove myself. Is this beneficial for me? Is this not beneficial for me? That's it. There doesn't need to be more than that. However, traveling also made me really disciplined. My father was a military man. As we're preparing all of his documents, because my father passed away last week, I'm in awe of all of these certifications that my father had, because my father was a airline pilot in the Army and in Vietnam. And so we are reviewing all of his like discharge paperwork, and it's such a incredible feeling to see how my father ranked in the military. And he probably told me about this, but I'm seeing this, and because of that, that militariness, kind of that discipline, wore off on all five of his daughters. And me being a flight attendant, it helped immensely. I am very disciplined on like important things. I'm not going to be late. Plus, as a flight attendant, you got to learn. You learn pretty quickly. You can't be late. This isn't an occupation for anyone who's always late. Thank you, T, because the plane ain't gonna wait for you, and then you gotta get fired. So it's important for me to continue to fly. Even when I would go out and drink with my friends, I remember this one time when we were living in London, because I lived in London, I was based out of Heathrow. And it was like this incredible, it seemed like a dream scene, because it was me and some of my girlfriends and a friend of mine who was a model in New York, but she was signed to an agency in London. And she was there, and another beautiful friend of mine who was there. There was a bunch of us, and all these guys with supercars. And so we were going to dinner and a club, and it was surreal because I'm like 24, 25 at the time. And we raced. Someone was in their Bugatti, someone was in a Porsche, someone was in a Lambo, someone was in a Ferrari, and it was like, this is cool. But then afterwards, all it is a story. Like, that is an intensely cool story, but it's just a story. I don't know. Does that make sense? Back to the discipline. Discipline is the factor of you achieving or not achieving, but also most will be disciplined for things that don't serve them. I was very disciplined flying because I had to have X amount of sleep. Sleep is important, especially with travel. I was disciplined with that. I knew those were my parameters. And there became a point in my career in flying where my sleep was more important than being out all night. Punctuality. And also through traveling the world, you understand if you're in, say, Japan or Germany, these cultures are extremely punctual. They they take offense to someone being late. Like you're late when you're on time. People are there an hour before, maybe 90 minutes before. And so learning how different cultures see time, but also time, protected time, my sleep time, my rest time. When I would come off a flight, I would take a shower and just rest. That time is important. No one's coming over. I just want to drop by. Thank you, Martin. No, you're not. I'm resting. I just came in from Frankfurt, or I just came in from Sao Paulo. I just came in. I'm taking a shower. I'm resting. I'm not going out. I don't know, T. I don't know. I didn't even know that we were supposed to. So you're saying, when are we going to meet? I didn't know we were supposed to. Um, I don't know what, yeah, I had no prior. You are the only one that has the key to unlock your passion and love yourself. And it just comes from finding something that you are passionate about. Finding something you're passionate about. Finding something you are passionate about. That could be cleaning, that could be a running, that could be something. Finding something that you're like, wow, I find so much happiness and joy in this. That's where it comes from. That's where that love comes from. Thank you, TikTok Yorkies. Because how often do all 50 people on this live, how often do you do something that you are passionate about, and that brings you like immense fulfillment and joy? And don't say your kids, you know, sure, my partner, yes. What do you do that brings you passion? When I speak, this is a passion. I love doing this. I find joy. It fulfills me. It aids in something. It's something that I love to do so much that I would do it without payment. And it's a skill, and I love articulating this skill and teaching this skill. Yeah, exactly. I find joy in everything, in every day in life. I choose to. All 50 plus people in this chat, I've had to utilize this. I'm a professional speaker. I motivate. I am a perpetual optimist, and I had to use it. I had to use this on me. My 40th birthday, I was in the intensive care unit with my father, who just, and that was the 26th of November. He went in right before Thanksgiving. My father just died 6 days ago. So during that time, with grief and with my ability to release and journal and say, I can find something beautiful in this. There's so much beauty in the observance of what someone else's life is to you. I don't know. I don't know what you should do. First of all, your age never matters. So sit with that. Sit with the fact that you felt the need to quote your age, because it would never matter. And what do you love? Yeah. Usually, individuals who can walk with that sense of gratitude and positive outlook have experienced parts of life that you can't imagine. I think to find your passion is just to do what you liked as a child. Sometimes the passion could be enjoying a good meal, not like just feeding yourself. A fabulous, nutritious, well flavored, perfect temperature, well plated meal. That's why all my meals like are delicious and well plated, and I forage my food. I gain passion from that. But if you're going through life just feeding yourself, just putting on something because it's comfortable, just going to a job because it's there, you've already lost you haven't lost anything. There's always the space to find passion in something. And the passion can simply be in the doing, in the taking the bus to work, in the people watching as you're going to school, in the way that you have had success in your family or job or occupation, in a hobby. Have a hobby. Where are your hobbies? Everything is a hobby, but I do love being outdoors. So I love hiking. I love walking. I love going to different mountain ranges. I love swimming. I love rollerblading. I love bicycling. I love knitting. I love cooking and foraging. Find passion in things that you can do, especially with your hands. Because that passion, sometimes we forget that it's there, and to do something and find that passion and feel that joy, even for that short amount of time. It adds a vigor and a robustness and a vibrancy that we need in life. Because most of y'all have just let life become robotic. Yes, and I love dogs. I love animals. A robotic life will turn you into a robot where you're just operating on autopilot. You're not even in your body. You forgot what you even like to do. You're around people you don't even like. So to do stuff that you like, there will be a domino feeling. Wow, I can actually do something I like. I can actually trust a choice that I make. I can actually tell that person, no, I don't choose to be around you. I can actually stand up for myself. I can actually change how I see myself. I can actually say I love myself. And then things start to arc in a different direction. You see, finding your passion in one thing allows you to passionately love something. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, thank you. I love that. I love skin. Before I would, Martin, don't tell anyone. And yes, check out my other videos, and I upload all of my lives, and I'm uploading videos daily onto that other long form video platform that starts with a Y and ends with a E. And my channel there is Hope is Speaking. And you can also see my TED Talk, which was my gift to myself. Here's another thing about passion. I'm so passionate about loving myself that I only give myself gifts that no one else can give to me. 2 years ago, I said I would gift myself a TED Talk for my 40th birthday. And I did. And it was like, that was the best gift that no one could buy, and the work that it took and the discomfort, and like it was challenging, and I was losing my voice up until I spoke, and after I spoke, after that day my voice was gone for 6 days. Like, it was intense. And imagine saying that. Like, I didn't know how it was going to happen. But I truly believe in my words. When I say something's going to happen, it's going to happen. The beauty is how it unfolds. And it did. And no, mine was just under 8 minutes. So it's called The Emergency Landing You Need. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, TikTok Yorkies. It's on YouTube. You can Google Hope, the emergency landing you need. Or if you go to my link in bio, it's the first box in my link in bio. And that was a huge accomplishment, because as a speaker and a professional speaker, a TED Talk means something. As a I always knew I would do a TED Talk. Yes, I'm very positive. And I thought it was really sexy because in the space of partnership and dating and companionship, I find it sexy for someone to say, yeah, she did a TED Talk. Like instead of like, look at her butt, like, wow, she's amazing. Like she did a TED Talk. Those types of things. And with that, that's that reminder of you're okay. Like you have to remind yourself of your accomplishments and the things that you've done. And even with that, I don't really write goals. I can know the goal and just instinctually work towards it because with any goal for me, all it takes is one thing per day. One thing per day towards your goal. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing, one thing. Sending one email, making one thing on Canva, making one video, recording one piece of content. All it takes is one thing. And especially on like this app, when people say, well, how do you grow? Post more than 0. That's it. It doesn't have to be 10. It doesn't have to be 5 per day. If you do anything more than 0 times, you will increase at your proficiency. Whatever you're doing will be seen. You will become more comfortable because you're doing it daily. And because of that, you will gain confidence. So in the beginning, it will be uncomfortable. That's a part of it. Yeah, I love that too. I I'm yeah, I get that. And I get that cuz I like lists. Like when I would get off a trip, because as a flight attendant, I would usually have long blocks of days off, anywhere from 3 to 5 to 10 days off. So I would make a list like, okay, this is when I was in New York. I'm getting up. I'll go to do a workout or rollerblade, get my nails done, go to Lot Less, go to the farmer's market. Like I do enjoy that, go to the dentist. And I like to find other methods. So if I've been doing methods like lists, which are great for a while, I'm open to a new method. I now have the reminders on my phone. I think the lack of the mechanical, like checking off a list, isn't beneficial. Like I find benefit looking at the list, picking up the pen, putting it to the paper, crossing it, seeing that physical task done. So I do love a list. Maybe I'll just get better, cooler paper because I love. Here's another thing, and this is because of my dad. I speak about my dad a lot, and I love a beautiful notepad, especially monogrammed. It doesn't have to be, it could just be a beautiful saying. A sticky note is okay, but no, I like a heavy grade paper, like a beautiful paper with a beautiful pen, not the Courtyard Marriott pen, which they have good pens. The Fairmont has really nice pens. I like the Fairmont pens. They're like Mont Blanc pens, and I used to like take them. They're great. A beautiful heavy grade paper and a beautiful pen, TikTok Yorkies. I do that now, like, oh, let me write down my information. It's just so refreshing and classic, and it can be unforgettable. Yeah, sure. I always take the stationery from hotels because I love them. I don't take towels and stuff. That's gross to me. I will take the pens, I will take the stationery and the envelopes because this is where I make my lists. And then I like seeing the different hotels, and people are like, oh, did you stay here? It's like that. Anyway, my father was one of those who would write a letter. My dad was always in some, I don't know, fancive. Yes, I love writing in cursive as well. Fancive. I meant finance and corporate, and he was an entrepreneur. He was like me, always changing, but he would travel often, and so his hotel of choice was Marriott. So as a child, my dad always had a lot of Marriott points, so we would get a lot of perks. And if we went out to eat and something was done incorrectly, my father would write a letter, like a polite, firm letter, but he would write a letter. Would still write a letter, but just that act of like not complaining to the manager, which often he would address the manager, and write a letter to the head of the company or something like that. And all the ways that people will want to keep your business. Like there's a beauty of just writing something with a firm request, or not even a request, a firm observation. But it's beautiful with a heavy grade piece of paper and a pen. I love it. I love it. I do. Well, that's okay. I don't TikTok Yorkies. That's okay. I why would that surprise you? People don't write. If you're talking about Americans, Americans are idiots. I who do you see how people text? I don't even see. I'm always surprised when adults are putting like the letter U for YOU. You have to text me in complete sentences, not no, KNO. It has a W. Like for me, if you text me, every word is its full word. Okay? People are idiots. My father would say most people are wimps. As my travels have shown me, I don't have the highest expectancy for the average American's intelligence. But writing in cursive, here's the other thing, it doesn't matter. It is something that will fade or become something of a novelty. And that's just a part of it. I don't see it as, I'm neutral. Like, I do understand that. And there will be a time where people will recognize it again. But most people type. Most people type. And that's better. Yeah, well, sure. Like calligraphy or Old English or anything like that. That's just a part of it. And that's the openness. Like, I still feel like that kid, but I was with my lovely niece who's 13, and I'm like, not. I'm just shocked that I'm not a kid. It just hit me. Like, I've been spoiled. I've lived such a good life, especially with me being a flight attendant starting from age 22. I've never had like a desk job. I had a desk job when I worked at my father's office. Continue to like the live because this is a good live. I didn't think I was going to be on this long, honestly. I've been on, doesn't matter. I worked in my dad's office. My dad had an insurance office, and he taught us to work the phones. So I would cold call like First Heritage Marketing Insurance. This is Hope. How may I help you? Like my dad would stand over us me and my four sisters individually, and train us to work the phones and to answer the phones and call brokerage services. And we licked envelopes. Like, this is child labor. I think 5 envelopes licked was like a quarter. And I was like, wow, if I do 20 envelopes, that's $1. So we worked in my dad's office and learned what office work is there. Because, number one, my dad's the boss. So any kid who's ever worked in their parents' business, yeah, you learn to work in a workplace, but you get a pass. Apparently, my dad fired me all the time. I don't know what I was doing. There was like a hippie phase where I would just come in at like 2 hours late, and he would just look at me, and I would just, I don't know. I was just like, this was right. I don't know. I might have been like 20, but I would just come in late, and he would fire me, but I would just come back because that's what persistence is. And he was my dad. I lived with my parents, so I have to see you at home, and I'll just come in tomorrow. And he would just allow me to come in. So through my young years and teenage years, because my father said school was our priority. If there was anything we needed, he would provide it, my parents would provide it, but there was no need for me to get a job. I was working at his office. I did not, he is, I love my dad. I'm celebrating him. I really am. So from working in an office, I never wanted to work in an office. And I traveled, as everyone in the chat, I keep saying this because I speak about my father often, and my father just passed away 6 days ago. So as we were looking through pictures, all our photo albums, it's like me and all my sisters in different beautiful places: Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, the Grand Tetons, because my father loves the outdoors. So we would fish and we would hike in Yellowstone and Yosemite. I have not lost anything. I've only gained, Tosh, and I appreciate that. And all over these beautiful locations and different theme parks and the White House and the St. Louis Arch, all of these things, I always knew, oh, thank you. And again, I understand that saying of, I'm sorry for your loss. However, I challenge this. I've only gained. And I understand the loss of the physical aspect. However, all of the reason why I had my TED Talk was because of my father. So when I accepted the fact that I see my father's health is changing in the hospital with his different systems, and I accept it, my father will die. I accepted that. It wasn't, I don't want this to happen, I can't take it. It was like, I accept, and I'm okay with that. He came and did what he needed to do for 76 years. Like, the reason why I had my TED Talk was because of my dad. The reason why I chose to become a professional speaker. The reason why I went into flying for 15 years and spanned 60 countries and lived abroad and learned languages. It's directly because of him. So there's never a loss. I've already gained so much. The only thing I lost is the physical, but there's nothing that's changed for me. And I'm inspired by that. And yeah, because of that, working in my dad's office, I was like, I ain't working in no office. This is lame. This is whack. People get fat. They get lazy. They out here smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee. I ain't doing it. I don't know what I'm doing in my life, but I ain't doing that, okay? I worked in my dad's office, and it's the best when the owner is your dad because you still get a pass. But I ain't working in no office unless it's my dad's office. I ain't working in an office. So I never wanted, yeah, he does. He does. And he loves his kids. My mom said, because he has 5 girls, every time they got pregnant and they would announce it's a girl, he would be like, wow, it's a girl. And she said, Ben, it's another girl. He would be like, I know, I'm so excited. I'm going to call. And he would call people. He loves his kids. He loves his kids. We all know that. Yeah, never wanted to work in an office. So my first job from not working with my dad, or no, no, no boys. Out of working with my dad, when I could finally work in college, because I had another job, and this is the thing. I worked for a cousin of mine who was an insurance adjuster, and he made me a claims person. So I was like, I don't know, 19, making like $64 an hour or $58 an hour. It's a lot when you're an insurance adjuster. And it was because of a family member. But my sister got us fired. And my sister's she's what is that? A nincompoop. She is a nincompoop because I liked that job. And getting fired when it's not your dad, it's like a cousin, it's not very good. It usually causes some rift in the family, but such is life. So, not only, what's up, paper chaser? Not only did I not want to work in the office, I already had this expectancy of, yeah, she got me fired because my sister's always late. Like, I don't play with time. I don't play with time, especially in a working sense. I don't like to rush, so I'm going to get there in a timely fashion. My sister loves to rush and be late. And we had a job like in Sacramento, and it takes like 2 hours to get there. And I was dressed in my business wear, my suit, and she said, why are you wearing that? I'm wearing jeans. So I went and changed into some like casual jeans, and we drove out to Sacramento and went through all the cases to do the claims. And not only were we late like 3 hours, we were dressed like regular. And so we were fired after that. But my, see, this is why working with family, I get it. Like, you try to help people out, and this is why I say people are idiots, because I've worked with family. That's why I'm saying people are idiots. Your family is what's in the world, okay? So once you work with family, you realize, oh, these mofos are idiots. I look at them and say, I love them. You're an idiot. You're an idiot, but I love you. You're not capable of doing this, but your family, so you will. That's the best thing about family. Okay, circling back to why I never wanted to be in an office. Yeah, people are idiots. The already this expectation of I'm 18, 19, I have to make like more than $50 an hour. And this was like 2004. So how do you do that? It's either commission or like sales. It can't just be a flat rate hourly thing. This is how I think about money, because time and money can be aligned, but I do not trade my time for money now. So commission, after she got me fired, I went into makeup, and it was at a makeup counter where I had commission with my sales. My father was also a stellar salesman. He had, before I was born, he was one of the first Black men to have a GM dealership, because he gained some certificate out of the Army from the GM Motor School, and opened a dealership. So he's a great salesman, and he taught me how to sell, so I know how to sell. And because of that, commission, great. This is how I'm thinking. So I was hired by Benefit Cosmetics in Macy's. And I started being a makeup artist, and that was fun, especially the commission part, because you're still selling. However, what my father told me is the secret to selling is you're not selling. You're telling a story. You're engaging with someone. You're listening to them. You're hearing what they're saying. You're not just trying to sell them something. You're actually getting to know them to know what would suit them. And that way you're not selling. You're really producing what would be beneficial to them, whether it's the cheapest or the most expensive. Oh, I understand what this person needs. This isn't about let me just get this sale. That doesn't happen, because then people come and return it. They feel uncomfortable. There's an art to selling. You're not actually doing anything. You're helping someone. You actually have to listen to the person. It's not a pitch. It's a conversation. It's knowing how to talk to people. It's actually liking people. It's actually liking what you're selling, liking what you do. If you really enjoy selling, I think you can do it with anything. However, when you find the passion in one thing, it could be cars, it could be, I don't know. There's another level to it. Yeah. And it's less about the sale and more about the ease. Because if someone doesn't need something, but I show them what may be beneficial in the future, maybe they'll come back. But if you just sell them or you hound them or you make them feel so uncomfortable that they don't want to come back, they'll never come back. And so within makeup artistry, I loved makeup and I wanted to learn makeup and I was great at selling, and that was great. So I've never really had, I see content about like HR and asking for vacation. I never had that. I really have been living like a 22-year-old for like 20 years, because after that, and then I did a little modeling and I started flying. And flying was like traveling all the time, going to different countries for just dinners and parties. Like, I, with pleasure, with pleasure. I've just been in the air more than I've been on the ground. And Sundance, one of my, he's like my spiritual godfather in Maui. I told him this, and he said, yeah, because you were flying for 15 years. You know more about the clouds and the sky than the ground. And I really do. I'm still getting used to it. Since speaking, going into speaking after retiring in 2020, I'm still getting used to it. Like, it took time for me just to get out of my cadence of flying, because I was a busybody. And I lived in cities, New York, DC, London, Paris. There's a rhythm to the city. And it took like a year of like, okay, sit back. Like, you actually don't have to do anything. You actually don't have to do anything. Because I said when I retired, I'm going to give myself a year to do whatever I want. Like, what you want to do next will come. Rest. How often do people ever gift themselves that? Of retire or just like take a break? Take a break. At 40, no, at 36. I retired at 36 from one career just to start a new path. Retirement for me, I never was like going to stay somewhere until I was 60 and retire. Why? My life is multifaceted. And as much as I loved my career, I couldn't do it when it was no longer that love. if I stay there, I'm taking that energy and that space away from someone who truly will love it and find fulfillment in it. I've done what I needed to do. I've lived in all these places. I didn't just go to Paris once, I lived there. I argued with a boyfriend in a beautiful Roberto Cavalli dress and Jimmy Choo's with the matching gold bag on the Champs-Elysees. Yes. It was amazing. If you get in an argument with your boyfriend, it's much nicer walking down the streets of Paris at age 24. That's much nicer than we just in Portland and it's raining. So there was that full circle moment, and I speak about it in my TED talk. I felt I had gained mastery. I also felt ready. I also had my emergency landing, which is the topic of my TED talk, but what caused me to say, this isn't it anymore. I've seen the world. I've lived the world. I haven't just seen it, I've lived it multiple times. Imagine that place that you went internationally. Imagine going 5,000 times and having friends there and going to birthday parties there. Imagine that. I've lived it and it's wonderful and I love it. And it's always a part of me and I still travel and I've satisfied that. I've satisfied that. I still travel. I was just in Germany. I travel more. I still travel. And I do not have to do it in that profession. I will do it in this way when I speak and different engagements, and I will still be traveling. I can still craft my life in a different way. But I no longer love this, and there's more in me. And because there's more in me, I have to let it go. The truth is, with being a flight attendant, I could have opened up my schedule and had a lot of free time to put my energy into building my speaking. That's why people fly for so long, because you can drop all your trips and not fly for the whole month or fly for one day out of the month and keep your benefits, and it's great. However, I knew if I held on to that, that was the safeguard. For me to fully dive into speaking, for me to fully dive into this passion, for me to fully dive into this next way of life means for me to let go of that safeguard, which means I have to fully say, I'm betting on me, I trust me, I will do it, goodbye. And that was it. Add to an emergency landing too. If you're on a plane that's about to go down in a fiery blaze, that changes your view on life real quick. So I also had that near-death experience that challenged me to think of, if I would have gone down in a fiery blaze, would I be okay with Hope 15-year career flight attendant period on my obituary? On my, if that's what I want it to say, then keep doing what you're doing, Hope. That's fine. But if you wanted to say Hope, retired flight attendant slash TED speaker slash professional speaker slash, then you need to do that, because it can go at any time. And when that captain called me on that flight that I was working from Seattle, Washington to Washington, D.C., when we were in the air, and said, Hope, because I was the head flight attendant, Hope, we have encountered failures in our left engine. We will be making an emergency landing. I will call you as soon as I have more information. Click. Anything you're worried about, you forget about. Any bill, any relationship, anything you worry about, once a call like that is received, you completely forget about. And when that happens, I guess in my cerebral cortex switched into a side of my brain that said, the reality is, within the next 45 minutes, this could be the end of your life experience. Okay, I accept that. I accept this could be it. All right, go back into working the flight, securing the cabin, all of that. I accept it, that. No, it's fight, flight, or freeze. Most people freeze. Most people don't run or fight, they freeze. I am a conqueror. I accept that. However, coming to writing your obituary, I actually wrote my obituary. I challenged myself for that. And now that we are doing all of this arrangements for my father's passing, writing his obituary, and I already wrote mine, because the beauty in that, I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to write your obituary. What do you want to be known? Because now it's coming full circle with writing my father's obituary. And there are so many accomplishments, but I'm like, well, what do we highlight? What do you want to highlight? For me, Paris King David, it's more of what I will accomplish. Not just flight attendant. I don't want just one. There got to be like 6 commas, because in reality, that's all people are going to read. And most people only have one job or one profession. Most won't ever make the switch. It's very difficult. I understand that, but the difficulty is worth it. And writing your obituary, the proudness that you would feel once, like, oh, I did that. I wrote mine. And I did that after that emergency landing, because it's quite a shock. And I also said, what do I want? What's up, the God particle? What do I want in life? What do I want to feel? What do I do the best that I feel is fulfilling and that I will build upon? What does life look like? What does my health look like? What do I want to leave? What am I building? All of those. Ask yourself that. It makes life real easy. Anything outside of those answers doesn't matter to me. So if it doesn't pertain to that, it's not something that I even need to ponder. My biker, Michael. So, how are you going to change? Sure, all of that. You can get as specific as you would like. And it's best to do so, because then you craft it for you. And that is the beauty of the change that you can create in 2024. Take that challenge. Write your obituary. Sit with that. First of all, sit with the fact that this experience will be done. Because my thought is, many individuals live without the thought of this being done. It will end. This experience will end. Because of that, live like it will end. Live like it will end. And most people don't. Like, if you take tomorrow and say, this is my last day on earth, I'm going to live like it. What would you address? What would you let go of? What would you do? How much effort would you put in? If it was your job to go, let's say you were a librarian, and you said, this is my last day on earth. How could I be the best librarian? What would be the mastery in being a librarian in this day? What would that look like, to just do something as it was the last time that you were going to do it? And write your end of life legacy. Dream about the things that you are accomplishing now, Dream about what you have yet to accomplish, but you will by that time. Write that. Write it. I don't. If it's she wrote 3 books and rescued 5 horses, whatever it is. Write that. See how that feels. What do you want out of this experience? It's got to be more than going to a job that you hate. It's got to be more than that, because it actually is. You're actually supposed to like this experience. You're supposed to actually feel great. That is normal. When you have headaches and you're taking antacids and you have migraines, that is abnormal. That's not that your body may be signaling something that needs to be paid attention to. However, write your end of life statement. Dream about what you are accomplishing and expand it. Like, it has to be almost daunting, because it's supposed to be. To dream means to do things that you don't think are possible. Like, it could happen, but it probably won't. That's the dream, not like a safe dream. Like 100,000, no, 100 trillion. Like, that's a dream. All it is a statement of what you want. You don't have to limit it. Limit it. Expand it. Expand it. And celebrate your existence. Like, this is supposed to be enjoyed. Show up for life. Like, actually wear something that makes you feel beautiful, not just comfortable. I don't know, what are you guys wearing? Spikes and like chainsaws? What is so uncomfortable that sweats is the only thing? I don't wear sweats out. I love cashmere, like a cashmere suit, or like pants and top if it's cold, but or silk, but a sweats, no. We keep it sexy and soft. So that's how we are changing in 2024. I actually am posting a video to my YouTube page, Hope is Speaking, about change in 2024 now, after I get off this live. So subscribe to my YouTube. I come on daily and I speak. If you miss my live, because I'm just driven, I'm just pulled to when I give a message, but I come on usually daily, Monday through Thursday, Friday. Sometime during the day, and I come and speak for 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours. If you miss my lives, I post every single one of my lives on my YouTube channel, which is Hope is Speaking, under the daily TikTok lives. So you can watch my lives. They're like almost like podcasts because they're quite long. However, I also upload daily inspirational content. The content that I'm posting now is about this change and what needs to be done. And it doesn't have to be just January 1st. This is anytime. Change anytime. Change in it. Trust me. Listen to me. I change. I break up with guys and then I change countries and change my number and change my area code, and I change my time zone. Change your time zone. That's the best way to change, and it's the best way to just get away from a breakup, because those things are just a nuisance. Yes, TikTok Yorkies, and thank you for subscribing. Follow me here on TikTok and on YouTube, and I'm Hope is Speaking. Yay! Yes, I am up late. Thank you. Yes, Maureen, I am up late. I am. I've been creative later, and I'm just flowing with it, especially with the lowered temperatures. And My TED Talk. If you go to my link in bio, my TED Talk is the first bubble, or you can go to YouTube and go to TED Talk Hope, the emergency landing you need. I gave this TED Talk in Karlsruhe, Germany in October, and this is what brought me to this moment. And I speak about this in this TED Talk because, thank you, Maureen, that TED Talk wasn't like a normal TED Talk. That was just words that came to me. I didn't write anything. I knew what I wanted to say, but that was all in the moment. And that's how I speak. I have an idea and I know how to weave the words together. And in that TED Talk, I learned that to trust myself. It was, TED Talks are usually very structured speeches, and mine is structured as well. However, I'm an extemporaneous speaker, and I spoke about how the emergency landing changed my life. And that message, I believe, is inspirational to all, because there's something within us that is special. However, when we refuse to share it with the world, you're not sharing your unique reason why you are here. So share your gift. Follow me here on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube, and donate, share, like, suggest, all of that. Let me know. Send me a message. Oh, that was great. Hope, you made me smile. The positivity is great. And also let me know if you have those annoying family members, because I just felt that. Like, if I wasn't related to you guys, I would not be around you. I would not. And you're my family. Huh? I have learned to just accept, observe who they are in that moment without judgment. That's the most peaceful and graceful way. So I am Hope. I will see you possibly tomorrow. No, not possibly. I will show up tomorrow. 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 Good night, good day, and the best is yet to come. Okay? Yeah, I'll be on earlier, but I don't know. I go on probably earlier. Probably. See you then, Paper Chaser. Thank you, everyone.